This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning all and welcome you for 3 days faculty development program on emerging trends in data analytics and cyber security. Thank you for joining us for today's session. It's my immense pleasure to welcome Mr. Kaisar Ahmed, Secretary and Correspondent of Islamia Women's College. I would like to welcome Dr. Renu, Principal. I extend my warm greetings to Dr. Arifa Bashir, Vice Principal, and it's my pleasure and great to welcome our Chief Guest, Dr. R. Rajkumar, Associate Professor, Data Analytics, School of Computer Science and Engineering, VIT, Vellore. On behalf of Islamia Women's College, we welcome you, sir, and thanks for accepting our invitation. I welcome all the participants to this first day session of FDP. Welcome you all once again. I would like to introduce our chief guest, Dr. R. Rajkumar, Associate Professor, VIT, with his short profile. He has more than 2 decades of professional experience and currently working as the Associate Professor of Data Analytics, and some of his research areas are data analytics, data mining and data visualization, IoT, smart healthcare data analytics, social and information network analysis. He has published 63 journal articles and 12 conference proceedings, and also playing a role of editor-in-chief, editorial board member for several national and international journals. He authored 14 books. Currently, he is guiding 3 PhD scholars and successfully completed 3 member scholars. As a resource person for many conference, workshop and invited talks, both national and international level. He is a professional scientific and society member for CSI and American Association of Advancement of Sciences and Apple University Development Program. He is a panel member for PhD VIVOIs in many universities all around the state. He has awarded Best Lecturer Award in the year 2002 from CSC Department and Best Researcher for past 6 years from VIT University. Significant contribution towards CSI.
Go to webinar.
Really, it's a great pleasure to have such an eminent personality as a presenter of today's session. We welcome you once again, sir. I welcome all the participants once again. If you have any queries during the presentation, please type them into the chat box, and end of the session, the feedback link will be shared in the chat box. Thanks for your patience and welcome you all once again for first day session of FDP, and over to Dr. R. Rajkumar, sir. Welcome you, sir. Sir?
Hello. Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah. Ma'am, can you share the PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I hope everyone is staying safe at home. So to start with data analytics, I think everyone is using it daily in today's life. Everyone is using data analytics. Everyone does data analytics by means of something, using your mobile device. For example, you use your WhatsApp, you use your Facebook, you use your Amazon, you use your Twitter, right? So whatever you do, right? Say for example, if you are clicking something online, so all those are converted into data, right? Every click whichever you make online is either using your mobile or either using your Facebook or social networking sites. Every click whichever you make, that counts, right? So what we are going to do, right? Say for example, if you're going for a shopping mall, or if you're going for a supermarket, everywhere they use your mobile number. They get your mobile number. They use it for some other purpose, and then they analyze those data. So what can be done with these data? So taking the data from a lot of people, right, and doing something like predicting, right, analyzing the data and visualizing the data are very, very important these days, right? Because data are available everywhere, and it is being taken by everyone from I mean, it is being taken by everyone. You give the data knowingly or unknowingly to everyone, right? Wherever you go, data are very, very important, right? So the main intention of this hands-on session, or else the workshop, whatever we are going to take, is about how data analytics plays a major role, and what are the job opportunities where you can switch over your career to data analytics. So that's what we are going to discuss today. I'm just going to give an overview alone. If you want in-depth, like a hands-on session or something like that, we can have it in the future sessions. Ma'am, can you go to the next slide, please? Ma'am, can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah. Yeah, you can see that a lot of surveys are being given. Like IBM is predicting, like one survey I've just mentioned here. IBM predicts that a lot of demand of data scientists will be there in the 2020 or in the forthcoming years. So what is the need of data scientists? Because everyone is, that's what I told you a few time back. Everyone is forced to use your mobile device, and everyone wants to be online every time, right? Nowadays you are having a lot of online classes. Like we can make an analysis of how many we can make an analysis of how many people have attended and what are all their status. Everything can be done online. So people wants to be online every time now. So if you are just watching a game on TV, so you're making analysis about that particular game, you're predicting about that particular player, and then immediately you can see a heat map or else a general map which will be shown on the screen about that particular player or about that particular game or whatever it may be. So analysis is everywhere, right? Say for example, if I'm taking all your college students' data, I can predict about all the college students' data wherever they are coming from and whatever their interests are and whatever the social media's data are and wherever they have gone, and every data can be visualized in by means of graphs, and I can present it to you, right? So data science is very, very important, and it gives a lot of job opportunities for the students. So if you want to switch over to data science jobs, is the right time for you to switch over. And then you can see there data professionals, data professionals is being used in a lot of industries like finance and insurance for predicting, professional services, your IT services, even for movies, even for online shoppings like Amazon, Flipkart, right? And even for recommending something, right? So recommendation, you can see a lot of filters will be coming once when you're going for your Amazon, right? You keep on filter the data and then you choose your exact product, right? So these kind of recommendation system can also be done by means of a data analyst if you're a data analyst. And you can have a lot of heat maps, right? Heat maps is just gives the prediction of future with the present data, and it can give it to you by means of heat maps, either by through Google Maps or either through a bar chart or whatever it may be, right? So these are all the things which can be done using your data science, and a lot of job opportunities are available. And then you can see that wherever it is being used, so engineering, you can see that sciences, like even in physics, chemistry, biology, right? So economics, social sciences, statistics, mathematics, right? You can see that everywhere it is being used. Even so a little bit of mathematics, statistics is important. So if you know basics of statistics, you are good enough for getting into data analytics, right? So if you want to be more familiar, then you have to be familiar in any one of the tools like Python or R programming or Jiffy, Tableau, or a lot of tools are available. If you want to visualize, if you want to make a complete analysis, you can do it. Say for example, Google also does this, even Facebook also does this, but they are doing it automatically and they are giving you the data. But now, as a data scientist or a data analyst, if you want to become, you can make your own analysis and you can predict all those data and you can visualize. So visualizing is very, very important in case as a data analyst point of view is concerned. Ma'am, next slide, please. Ma'am, next slide, please. You can see that I missed one slide. No, we have missed one slide, 2 slides before. Yeah, you can see that how data science can be implemented, right? So it can be done using MATLAB, it can be used using Python, R programming. You can see that R and Python are having equal opportunity for you to implement using your data science. So many will be having a question, how can I implement? So you are having MATLAB also, you can use MATLAB also, but that doesn't give any clear visualization part. But if you go for Python and R, so that gives a clear visualization part of whatever analysis you make, and then you can present it very well to the customers, right? Okay, here in this slide you can see that data science, so the analytics job postings, right? So the average salary of a data scientist, so it's huge actually. So once when you are going for this machine learning, right, or else big data analytics or visualization or else live streaming of data analytics, so data science plays a major role here, which provides you huge money for your as a job perspective. For students it will be very helpful. So as a researcher, you are having, if you are a researcher, you have a lot of research problems in this area in data science and data analytics. So you can identify a lot of problems, and then you can sort out with that problem. You can go for make a literature survey, and then you can go for your PhD presentations or something. Next one, please. Okay, so you can see that a lot of options are available as a data scientist. You can be a data decision maker, data driven decision maker. You can make a functional analyst. You can be a data system developer. You can be a data analyst or data scientist, right? Data scientists are always involved with advanced analytics, which is having streaming analytics and analytics manager. So a lot of job opportunities are available here in case if you're going for a data scientist or a data science job is concerned. Just the whatever I'm giving you is just for a reference for the students, so that it will be helping them for switching over to as a data scientist to learn data science. Next one. So what are all the things, what you are going to do, why you need data, and how you are going to do. These are all the 3 things which you must
Excuse
what
me,
do they
sir. Sir, you're not audible, sir.
now? Hello?
No, okay, no, okay.
Yeah. So here we have mentioned you should know 3 things: why, what, why, and how. So what type of data you are going to take from the user, that is very important. So the type of data, whatever you are going to take from who is the user, right? Either he is a normal customer or either he is a regular customer or something like that. So what type of data you are going to take, that is also very important. You are going to take only the hello, ma'am. Ma'am, someone has not muted. I think Muhammad Adil, Binati Mishra, I think they're okay, fine. I think it's okay now. So that's what. So what type of data you're going to take, that is very important, and why you are taking the data, that also matters. Just like simply say if you go to a more shop, simply they take the data, they don't do anything with that. All right. So what if you're taking a data, what you're going to do with that data is very, very important, and how you are going to do, that is very important. How that's what I've given an answer for all those things, what, why, and how. So here you can see that the importance of humans in the visualization process. Say for example, I'm just talking something over here without a PPT, for example, right? You people cannot understand what I'm talking, right? So if you see something and then you listen what I'm talking, then it makes easy for you to understand. So visualization is very, very important. If you're going for a movie and if you just listen the story sitting in the theater and coming, if you're coming out, you won't understand anything out of that, right? So you see something with music effects, with all those animations, and you see everything, and that stores in your mind very well, right? So visualization process is very, very important. As a data scientist, you must know how to visualize your data, right? And then what type of data you can transfer, right? So the whatever data we are taking, the three things you must understand before going for analysis and visualization: why, what, and how, right? So a lot of tools are available these days. You can go for this R, you can go for D3, Tabula, right? I think you have a session on Tabula also, so that you can understand very well about this visualization. So and then what we are going to do this, so how is that historical visualization is going to have an impact of your prediction of data? So that is very, very important. I have some historical data. Say for example, you take your college itself, I have all your previous year students list, right? So I'm just finding out the location of all the students through that particular data, whatever I've collected or whatever that a college is having, and then I can predict something in the future from which area or from which location many students come to your college, right? And so that I can target it for my marketing, so that I target that particular location for more students to enter into your college, right? So that is one kind of prediction, simple predictions which you can make. The same thing can be predicted for your shopping malls also. Say for example, if I buy a particular product online, or if I search a particular product online, and then immediately number of service providers, they target you by searching through your mail, by sending messages to your mail or message, or by some other mode, giving some other offers with the same product whichever you have searched for online these days, right? So this is some sort of historical data which you have searched for. They take it from your browsing history, and then they predict something out of that. So this person is ready to buy this particular product, so we target him with more number of products similar to that, with more offers, right? So that is how they go for these predictions using the historical data which you click online through their website or through some other websites, right? Okay, ma'am, next slide please, ma'am. Ma'am, next slide please. Next slide please. Ma'am, next slide. Okay, so here what I have mentioned is data is generated everywhere and every day, right? You cannot have a day like you take everyone is generating data every day. Nowadays no one is there without using a WhatsApp or Facebook or Twitter or some other social medias, all right? Everyone is forced to use all this. So what is the main thing they do? They generate data. They themselves they generate data. Say for example, if I am visiting your college, Islamia College, so immediately Facebook will be sending a message stating that you are in Islamia College, post some pictures or videos or something like that, right? So it means that they are targeting us to give us some data to them. So it is some sort of data. So the data what we are giving is by means of an image. I am giving it to them. It may be a video lecture, it may be audio or anything, right? So data are generated every day by everyone also, right? So data, if you just check that, data are increasing in sizes also, right? So increasing in the sizes by means of you upload lot of videos there, you upload lot of images nowadays, right? So and what we need to know is we need to understand how efficiently we are using the data, and how efficiently we are using the missing data, how efficiently we are neglecting the data or removing the unwanted data. Say for example, if you just take your laptop itself, in your laptop, when you say for example, I have bought this laptop in 2010 and it is 2020, so a lot of data will be available which I have never opened also, right? Even if you just check your mobile, so your mobile device also will be having same pictures repeatedly 2 times or 3 times, or as apps which are not being used for multiple times. So these kind of data can be removed, right? So this is also some sort of data which is stored in your mobile, or which is stored in your laptop, right? So these kind of data, how efficiently you are handling them and how you understand that those data are very important. So data, whatever you have, how you handle it, how you maintain the data, how you update the data is very important. So if you just check the first slide, in this slide I have mentioned a graph database, right? So in this graph database is nothing but which will be representing the complete graphical visualization of your Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or something else, right? So it can be used for your medical image processing also. So visualization of data can be used for your medical image processing. It can be used for your genome sequencing. It can be used for your books, that is like ebooks or something like that. So on a lot of storage devices, it can be used as a lot of storage devices, and you can retrieve it and then you can use it for some other purpose. Okay, ma'am, next slide, ma'am. Ma'am, next slide. Okay, so now I hope everyone has understood what is data science and what are all the basic things which you need to know, and everyone is using data science now. So I hope you understand the definition of data science now, right? So the basic definition, if you just take, the data's whatever you have, so you have this qualitative and quantitative data variables which you will be using to measure the data, right? Data are nothing but informations in a raw or unorganized form, right? It's not an organized form, like it's unstructured data, right? So you may have a structured data or unstructured data. So whatever you have, so what we are going to do is we are going to study about this unstructured data only. We are not going to work on this structured data. Structured data you might be studying already in your database management system, SQL, like which will be having in rows and columns, right? So this is a good example for your structured. Whereas in case of unstructured, you just type something in Google, right? You just type something in Google. Google gives you a lot of information. So this data is what is being stored in Google or in an unstructured format, right? So that is an unorganized or unstructured format. What you are going to do is you are going to organize all those data if you are going to work on a particular data set, and then you are going to visualize it, or you're going to okay. So what are all the things which you will have in your data set, like facts and figures, characters, symbols, images. And then what we are going to do is the meaningful data, right? Or organized data is information. All right. So using this organized data or meaningful data, I'm going to predict something, and I'm going to make an analysis about this meaningful and organized data, and then I'm going to predict it, and then I'm going to come out with some decisions. Like a lot of things we can do with this meaningful and organized data, right? Okay, next one, next slide, ma'am. Okay, so what? No, ma'am. Previous slide. Okay, so you can see that 6 phases are available in your data analytics. So that is said to be as your data analytics life cycle. So the 6 phases are data discovery, data aggregation. So you can you can go through all those. So planning of data models, data model execution, communicating results and findings, operationalization. So these are all the 6 phases, which is very important as in the data analytics life cycle. So here in these 6 phases, I'll explain you each and every phase. So in these 6 phases, you can switch over from any phase from at any time. It doesn't mean that you have to do this data discovery first and then you can go for data aggregation, and then you can go for data planning and data modeling or something like that. And then you can come back again, and then throughout this particular life cycle, you can come back again and do all those things. So that is an advantage in case of data analytics life cycle is concerned, right? Okay, next slide. Okay, so data discovery here, if you just mention this data discovery, so you are going for this relevant history, right? Say for example, whether the organization or the business unit, so you have similar projects in the past. Say for example, if you are working in a software company, so the software company, a new client is coming and giving a software project for that particular company. The company will be checking whether they have done similar kind of projects earlier, right? So that is project capability baseline. So they'll be checking whether they have done something with that, and then that will be the baseline for that, and then they'll be providing with, then they'll be moving it further, right? So what here we are mentioning about this data discovery, the attempted similar projects in the past, whatever you have in the past, so you just check with that, and then you have that as a pattern, and then you move forward with that particular pattern. So here, so what are all the resources that support your project, right? In terms of people, how many people you need, what type of technology you're going to use, how much is the time duration for you to do, and what type of data, what are all the different types of data you're going to handle, the supporting data which is going to handle, right? So and then so you can see that you can formulate an initial hypothesis to test, and then begin starting learning with that particular data. So the basic learning of data is very, very important. You should understand what type of data it is and how you are going to work with that particular data, and then only you are going to provide. And one more thing is important here is the people, technology, time, and data is very, very important, which will be used for this data discovery. All right, so the data discovery mainly is used to identify the types of data and what are all the supporting data you have. In the previous data you have worked with that, and then the technology which you are going to use for this data you are going to analyze and visualize. Next one. So data preparation. So data preparation is very, very important. If I'm talking something, or if you're collecting the data, so you'll be typing it in your notepad, or you'll be typing it in your word, or you'll be typing it in by through some means, or you'll be recording it for your future use or something like that. Preparing an analytic sandbox, prepare an analytic sandbox which will be very useful for you for data preparation, right? ETL is very important. I think ELT and ETL is very important. The ELT is your extract, load, and transform. Extract the data, load the data, and transform the data. So which is very important. So here data can be extracted, and then it be loading in the different stage tables in the database, or else you can have it in your CSV format or JSON format. So a lot of data formats are available. You can store it in any of your formats, whatever you want. So and then transforming data is where that is loading in the target database, right? So that is also important. So in case if you are working on a streaming data analytics, so where you're going to work with the live streaming of data, which is very important these days. So analysis and visualization of live streaming of data through once when the match is going on, right? So preparing the data is very, very important. How to get the data is very, very important for that. And then being transforming the data so that you can work with it and analyze it. So begin transforming the data. So transforming the data, like converting the data. Say for example, you'll be having data. If you take a WhatsApp chat analysis, so in this WhatsApp chat analysis, I'm not sending only text messages alone, right? So I'm sending video messages, I'm sending audio messages, I'm sending animated GIFs, I'm just sending all types of informations in my WhatsApp. So if I'm taking the complete WhatsApp chat analysis of a particular group, so what I do, I just transform the data. I just convert the data into understandable format, right? So and then only I go for this analysis part, right? So that will be very interesting if you're going for this data preparation. Data preparation, as a data analyst or a data scientist, you must know this data preparation for the next stage, right? So familiarize yourself how to work on this data preparation. Like simply collecting the data on a simple Excel sheet, like 10 data or 20 data, that's very easy. Anyone can do. I can make an analysis in the Excel itself. But what we are going to do is here we are going to analyze, and we are going to visualize huge data. That is large data, big data. Because whatever data you're getting through online, whatever data you are getting through online is huge, right? So that is very, very important. Like that's what it's unstructured. Once again, that's what I was telling about unstructured data. The analysis is completely about unstructured and big data, right? Ma'am, next slide please. Okay, so and then model planning is very, very important. So you have to determine the methods and techniques which you are going to follow for the complete model. If you're just preparing the data, taking discovery, you are taking the data through discovery, and then you are preparing the data, and then model planning is very important, right? So and then you explore the data and learn about the relationship between the variables. So if you just take a data and you identify the relationship between the variables, and then so what type of key variables and the models you are going to use for your data set. So that is very important. So consider once when you're going for model planning, you can consider a lot of data mining and predictive analytic techniques like categorization, association, rule, regressions, right? You might have studied in your data mining algorithms. So you can use a lot of other things are also available. Just I mentioned only few. So data mine, if you will be using techniques which is best suited for structured data and unstructured data. So you should determine which techniques will be suited for best will be suited for your structured or unstructured data. So structured data we are not going to worry. We are going to work on this unstructured data or a combination of both, a hybrid approach. So model planning is very important. What type, whether you're going for a predictive model or either you're going for some association rules or classification rules or some machine learning algorithms, anything, right? Fine. Okay, next. Okay, so once again, the model planning, develop data sets for testing and training. So you can develop data sets and you can test the data and you can train the data. So and then you can go for some execution models like workflows, like parallel processing, which supports a faster hardware, which supports your system, right? How do you communicate these results? So once when you're going for this model planning, identify your key findings. What are your key findings from your approach, right? Quantify a business value. So you quantify that to a business value, and then develop a narrative and summary of your findings. So you should make a narrative and then you should summarize your findings, and then you have to convey it to your stakeholders, right? Say for the customers who has given you a project or something like that. Okay, next one. Next one. So operationalize, deliver the previous one. Deliver the final reports, briefings, codes, and technical documents. Implement your model in your productive environment. So deliver your final reports, briefings, codings, and technical documents by means of some visualization, or it can be a graphs, or it can be a bar chart, code, or whatever it may be. Right. So this is your operationalize. So which is very improvement for your models in your all your production environment is concerned. Okay, next one. Once when you're talking about this big data, so as I told you about, you are having structured data and unstructured data. So data, I think structured data, I told you good examples already. Data that can be processed, stored, and retrieved in a fixed format. Unstructured data lacks a specific form or a structure or whatsoever it may be. And then timestamp data. So this timestamp data mainly processed with event time and the processing time. Say for example, if you switch on your social networking site, that the time of logging in and then the time of logout, how many clicks you are making there, the processing time, right? So these are all timestamp data. Say for example, if you take your mobile itself, your mobile gives you how many hours you are using, so you are spending on social networking data, how much time you are spending on games, how much time you are spending on some other items in your mobile. So it separates and gives you, right? So what is the need of giving all these? So by reading all these, I can understand that I am wasting more time on social media, so I can reduce it. So it gives you every week and it gives you every month. If you take a lot of Google games or something like that, so it tells you how much steps you are taking. So these are all timestamps data. So every step which you make, it counts, and then it's being stored somewhere through some other medium, and then it's you are using it for analysis, and you're doing something out of that. Okay, next one now. So the machine data, you are having machine data also. Even machines are also generating data, right? Say for example, you can see that a lot of data, you are having a lot of IoT devices which is inbuilt on your fridge, or which is inbuilt on your lights or fans or whatever it may be. So these are some sort of machine data which is being generated and gives to you, where I make the analysis about that particular data onto my machine, and then I predict something out of that. And then spatio-temporal data, right? It's the location change over time, geographical locations, like figures make up of geographical objects like countries, roads, lakes, buildings, all those things. This using these, I can predict something like weather forecasting also can be done using this spatio-temporal data. So and then open data. These open data are available for everyone, right? So in terms of use, you can download the data and you can use those data. Say for example, if you type something there on you Google, you'll get those data. So these are all open data. Directly I can download and directly I can use those data. So these data are available everywhere. You can see that Kaggle.com and lot of sites are giving these free data. So what is the main intention of these free data? You take the data from them, you use it for your analysis purpose, and then you can visualize it, and then you can predict it or use some algorithms, and then you can work on those data. So open data can be changed anytime. If you download the data, you can modify the data, you can do anything with that particular data, right? So that's what it is being mentioned there. Rights to republish without restrictions from copyright patents or other mechanisms of control, right? But that doesn't suit for your research purpose. And that doesn't suit for your research purpose. Okay, next one. So that you are having these dark data. So dark data are dormant data in some form. These dark data are available everywhere. That's what I told you initially. Your laptop is having dark data, your mobile is having dark data. So dark data are nothing but from the data which are not used for past few days, for years or few days or years or months or something like that, right? Which is of no use, right? Maybe if you open it and then you can use it or something like that. The data which are not being used in your devices, right? So that is what I have mentioned here. And then real-time data. So real-time data are very hot these days. So you can take these real-time data and then you can go for some live predictions of data. So most explosive trend in analytics these days. So it means that the streaming of data analytics and using the real-time data. Say for example, if a cricket match is happening, or else if a badminton match is happening, so what we can do, we can give a live wherever the bowler has bowled, what type of ball is bowling, everything I can predict it. I can tell what type of ball the bowler can bowl in the next over or something like that. So these things are live streaming of data, so which will be used, which is used for all the areas these days. And genomics data for genomic sequencing or genome identification, like drug discovery. In case if you are a bio student, you can use for this genomics data. And operational data, companies have big data, right? If you take a bigger companies are having a lot of data, right? So what they do with these data, they don't know, they are having all those data, but they are if the company knows how to use it for their productive purpose or improve their business, they are using it. Few companies, they don't know how to use those data, but they have the data, but those data are simply kept idle, right? So and then how to convert and improve, you must know how to convert and improve the business. So that is very important. Even if it is a call, even if it's an educational institution, even if it is a business, even if it is some other organization or whatever it may be, all are having the data from their day one, right? So you must be able to multiply that data or else improve the data for your business purpose or for some other productive purpose, which gives you more profit. That is very important. Okay, next one. Ma'am, next one. Unverified and outdated data. So this unverified and outdated data, right? Unverified in the sense, nobody have an idea whether it is relevant, accurate, or even it is a right type of data or not, right? So the data are collected, and data are collected from a lot of people, but it is not verified, right? So once when you are collecting the data, it should be the exact data, or it should be used for some other purpose. But here, this unverified data, we are collecting the data which is relevant or irrelevant. We are collecting the data, accurate or inaccurate. We are not worried about this. Either it is the right type or wrong type. We are not worried about that. We are collecting the data. That's all, right? So and then business terms. So if you're trusting data and then you haven't verified, then your complete decisions are wrong, right? Say for example, if I am asking a data from a particular company, the company are giving a wrong data to me. Say for example, if 10 employees are being removed and they are adding the 10 employees names there and then they are giving it to me, my complete analysis will be wrong, right? So my complete decisions will be wrong. My complete predictions will be wrong. So whenever you're going for making an analysis, whenever you're going for a decision making or predicting, you should have exact data, right? Unverified and outdated data are not used for your analysis and visualization, right? So and then translytic data. Okay, translytic data we have mentioned. So translytic data is nothing but you just on-demand real-time processing data, right? So it's mainly is used for not previously available at the point of action. So it is available at that particular time period. Ma'am, next one, ma'am. Okay, so I mentioned about what are all the things you must know about a data analyst, and then data visualization. So here we have mentioned about this data visualization. So data visualization helps people to understand the significance of data by placing it in a visual context, right? So that's what I told. Visual context is very, very important. But if I am making the analysis and then if I am not showing it to you, then it is waste, right? So visual context is very, very important by in terms of data analysis is concerned. So you are having a lot of different types of data, your text-based data, your image data, your voice data, your lot of different types of data are available here. Text-based data, right? So text-based data can be exposed and recognized easily in with data visualization softwares. So data visualization softwares, a lot of softwares are available. As I told you earlier, you have a D3, Tableau, Jiffy, all those things. So you can visualize these data by means of that. Data, I think I gave you a good example. This text-based, your WhatsApp chat analysis is a good example for your text-based data, or else the complete informations, whatever you type, the comments, whatever the complete comments which you have given in your Facebook. So that can also be taken as separately, and then I can tell you how much comments you have given on your social networking sites, right? How much images you have shared on your social networking sites. So everything can be done, right? So you can combine visualizations into dashboards, right? So dashboards are nothing but, say for example, this GoToMeeting is a complete dashboard, right? So I can see all the users there which are available here. All the users can communicate to me by means of chat, right? All the users I can share my screen to all the users. So this is something like a complete dashboard, right? This is a very good example for a dashboard. So this GoToMeeting, you just take it as a complete example of a dashboard where everyone can visualize this and understand something from that, right? And then what visualizations can do? Visualization can explore, analyze, and present the data, right? Exploring the data is very, very important. Nothing is known to you when you're exploring, right? And then data exploration, analyze. So you use lot of algorithms, you use lot of hypothesis, and then you analysis is used for verification and falsification of data, or falsification of data will be removed, or removing of unwanted data. You can impute some missing values into that particular data. And then how you are presenting it. So if you want to present, everything is known about that particular data, and then how you use to communicate it. You can see a lot of graphs I have mentioned here. So these are all graphs which are being represented by means of the data, and then it is being visualized. So in the first picture, you can see that a graph is being mentioned, a Google map or a map graph is being mentioned. And the second one, you can see that it can be used for image processing, right? So the health informatics, right? Healthcare data analysis can also be used in this case. In this case, right? So visualization. What is the main intention of going for this visualization? I can understand the data very clearly by seeing the picture of that particular data. Right? Next one, ma'am. Next one. Okay, so data makes everything clearer. So you can see that you can see the simple graph there, right? It states that by seeing the graph, I can see that it goes high, age goes higher here, and then in USA, heart disease, right? It increases there in USA, and where in case if you see some other place, the death rate decreases. So by seeing the graph itself, one should understand, or one should give the complete story about that particular complete data set, right? So you must be representing the data very clearly by means of visualization, so that the other person sees that and he understands by seeing that particular graph itself. This is very important. Okay, next one. Okay, so you can see that data excitement, data science excitement is everywhere nowadays. So everyone is talking about data science. Everyone wants to learn data science, right? So if you're working on an Excel, or if you are working on a normal simple file, that is not a data analyst. That doesn't come under a data analyst or data scientist. So remember, always the main intention to work with this is to discover the data, you prepare the data, and then you implement some models to that particular data, you use some models to that particular data, and then you go for either predicting or decisions, and then you go for the visualization part. So you follow these steps for your data science. So here in this particular slide, you can see that flow trends, Google flow trends are being mentioned. You can see that a map is being represented, and you can see the a graph over there, the increase and decrease of the particular graph. So by seeing this, I can very well say that the colors represent separate thing, and the maps, the first activity, floor activity represents separate thing. So the maps are used everywhere and every time nowadays. So for example, if you just type something on your Google map, if you are going to a new location, if I am coming to your college, body, I'm just typing your college name. Immediately, Google gives me the maps, right? So that is one sort of visualization where I can visualize it and I can come through the maps through the direction which it is giving. So this is also some sort of visualization. So everyone sees and understands by seeing the visualization part. No one wants the data, right? No one wants to hear something, but everyone wants to see, right? So next one, ma'am. Ma'am, next one. Okay, so you can see that. So from this, if I'm from this particular mental image to make it visible. So here from this particular graph, you can this is a data and graph alone. Here you can see that children's happiness based on candy allowance, right? So how often they eat the candy and average level of happiness. So if students are eating the candy, and how is their average of happiness every week or every month or every year. So that's all. It's very simple. But the data which we have collected on the back end and then we have made some analysis is completely different, right? But for you, when I'm predicting it, when I'm projecting it, I'm projecting it as a graph part alone, right? So for example, if you are seeing a movie and if you're closing your eyes, and then you can completely narrate the story to me, even scene by scene, or even what type of dress the actor or actress is wearing, everything you can completely visualize it by closing your eyes, right? But whereas in case if I'm telling you a story, it's very difficult for you to give me scene by scene or else or all the other things separately, right? So visualize is very, very important these days. Okay, next one, ma'am. Next one, ma'am. Okay. So to convey information through visual representation, you can see a lot of visual representations are available. The first one shows a lot of maps where you can visualize the data. So the bigger dot gives high strength and lesser dot gives lesser strength. And then how people are spending money that can also be represented. And in the third one, you can see that some maps are being represented. And the fourth graph gives the graph visualization where completely involves about your Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, or whatever it may be. And the fifth one gives the heat map, right? Heat map. The darker color gives the larger data set, larger values, and the lighter color gives the lighter values. Depends upon the colors, whichever you want. You can use. A lot of tools are available for you to visualize nowadays using heat maps. And the fifth one is a word cloud, right? As a word cloud. Say for example, you take your WhatsApp. I take the complete data of your WhatsApp. I clean the WhatsApp data by removing all the videos, images, emojis, everything, and then only the text I'm taking. And I can predict how many people in the group talk about this particular word separately. So that is what here they have mentioned: president, states. So these things are used more frequently in that particular chat data set. Okay, next one, ma'am. Okay, so what are all the things I can visualize? Maps to convey the information through visual representation. How I can convey? I can convey through maps. I can record. I can give it as a record. I can give it as an abstract. So I can discover, communicate, interact, inspire, and I can clarify the data. So a lot of things can be done to convey by means of your visualization part. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Next one, ma'am. So what type of visualizations you can make, right? You can make a scientific visualization. So you can see that 3D objects. So mainly it's being used for your medical image scanning, like parts of the body, like aircraft wing, simulations of aircraft wing, and then geo visualization. So geographic visualization is completely a map-based visualization. It gives you a 2D or 3D or spatial coordinates, and then it's generally shown the relations of a map, right? Geographic visualization, information visualization. So here this information visualization gives completely about your social network data, hierarchies, networks, multi-dimensional spaces. So about this information visualization. So the data visualization you just take, it's a combination of your information and your geographic visualization. Visual analytics, if you take, just take, so where data visualization comes in the front end and then analytics at the back end. So you make analytics at the back end by means of a lot of different tools, and then in the front end you just give it as a data visualization. So this is completely about visual analytics part. Okay, so you must understand this for your visualization part. What is the need of visualization and why you're going for this visualization? Ma'am, next one, ma'am. So why do we visualize? So you can visualize it. So see the patterns of visual representation, comparisons of visual representation, and then tabular representation. You can tabulate the data and you can visualize it, and then you can interact the visions by a line chart, bar chart, or whatever charts you have. You can visualize completely by means of chart wise. Next one. So here, if you see this this particular visualization part, I have a data of salesperson A and a salesperson B. So you can see that who is performing. By seeing this graph itself, I can just predict who is performing better, either salesperson A or salesperson B, right? So very well, I can predict that salesperson A performs very well than.
I can give you some 3 to 4 links. Quantum QUANTL. Okay. And one is quantum.com and quantum.com. Okay. And all of the others are also in my mail ID. So if you want, I can start it through the guy's personal mail ID. Okay. Okay. Excuse me, ma'am. Yeah, tell me. Which algorithm is suitable for the astronomical software? So I need to
You may continue, sir. You are not audible.
Yeah, is it fine now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is fine now.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Next slide, ma'am. So visualization. Once when you are representing something, it should be very clear, and the people who are sitting on the other side, your grandfather or grandmother, she should understand whatever you are visualizing. So you can see this from this particular slide. Whatever we have mentioned, can you identify the number of zeros here? Can you count the number of zeros here? You can, but it's very difficult and it's a time process. You will be checking line by line and then you will be calculating. But in the next slide, if you just check, ma'am, next slide, please. So if in the next slide, if you just check, the threes, right? Easily I can identify easily I can count the number of threes and I can sort out the number of threes easily because I am representing that by different color. So that matters. That visualization is very, very important once when you are representing that data by means of visualization. Okay. So that is what I have mentioned. A lot of definitions given by visualization by different persons, right? So you can go through this graphical representation, communication of information using graphical representation. So the purpose of visualization is insight. It's not the pictures, right? Inside it's a combination of all the data and it's by different representing that in some other format, right? Okay, next one. Okay. So what a visualization is used to carry tasks more efficiently, and then that's what I mentioned. This replacing people ability of rather augmenting the people's ability rather than replacing. So and then you can see that resource limitations. It needs to support the computers, whatever you're using, the humans, the displays, right? These matters once when you're going for visualization, and then why people need it and what the people need it and how. Right, what type of designs you are going to make, how you are going to make the design. So these are very important ones when you make the visualization once again. If I ask you, have you seen any visualization today, right? Many will be thinking about this, but yes, everyone would have seen a visualization today by means of graphs like maps, or taking the data separately and then doing it something there, right? So visualization you are doing knowingly or unknowingly, you are doing it daily, right? By means of some social media data, or else even the presentation what we are making is also some sort of visualization only, right? It's a medium. GoToMeeting is a medium where we use this use it for a visualization, the presentation part. Next one. Next one. Okay, so here what we can do here is, so people don't do exactly what questions are asked in advance, so they don't know how to approach the problem. So this is very important. Putting humans in the loop enhance their ability to rather than replace. So three uses of visualization in today's world is transitional use, help designers to future solution that is completely computational. So you must know how to use the data and then visualize it, use the models over there and then go for visualization. It's a long-term use is concerned, you must completely know about this exploratory data analytics, right? You must know how to work on missing values, dark data, and how to impute the missing values using some algorithms, and then how to clean the data, which is very important. So the cleaning the data is very important, and the raw data which you are downloading or which you are taking it or which you are collecting it from the users, you cannot use the same raw data which you collected from the users. You must know how to clean it, and if any missing values are there, you must know how to impute the missing values, and then you have to go for the analysis and visualization part. So and then presentation use, so explain something that is already known, right? If the data are clean, a lot of clean data are available in Kaggle, and you can download those cleaning data, and then you can present the data directly by means of some sort of visualization. So it's like you must know what type of visualization you are going to make. That is very important. Say for example, if I am giving you a
Hello, sir. You are not audible again. Kindly unmute yourself.
Sir,
Sir, you are not audible.
hello, sir. Excuse me, sir. No. Sir, you're not audible, sir. It's showing offline. You're in offline.
There might be some internet problem, ma'am.
Sorry for interruption.
It's okay, ma'am. No problem.
He's reconnecting.
So
Now
so
audible.
yeah, fine. So everyone, what we are doing now, whatever you are studying in your college, everything is with respect to tiny data sets only. Even if you are having your mobile, you have a lot of data sets. You can explore up to 1 GB or 2 GB or whatever it may be, right? So the tiny data sets, whatever you are taking, we are not worried about the tiny data sets. I can easily represent this by means of graphs using these tiny data sets. But our intention, our motive is to work on these huge data sets, right? Whereas if you just take a huge data set, the first diagram, you can see the lot of, you can see a lot of network graphs there. In the second one, you can see that I have mentioned a lot of nodes which are being represented. There are complex drawing. Complex drawings are possible in case you're going for a huge data set. It is a necessary for a huge data set also, right? Say for example, if you're just taking your Facebook itself, if you're taking a particular group about a particular person, Sachin Tendulkar or something like that, I can give the complete number of users who are added to that particular person, and all the each individual user, how many connections he has. So if you just check that, it is a complex drawing for us to do it manually, right? So that's why we are looking for some softwares to give us a complex drawing. Whereas if I'm just checking how many people in India like Sachin Tendulkar, how many people in US likes this person. So everything group, I can cluster it, I can give it to you separately by means of visualization. That is very easy. So the people who sees it also understands very easily. Okay, ma'am, next slide. Next slide. So you can see that external representation is very important. So here this external representation is nothing but diagrams, right? So where you need some external memory, organize information in spatial locations, and then grouping relevant informations in nearby locations, right? So this is also grouping can be done. I think would have studied a lot of clustering algorithms, right? So you can use some clustering algorithms for external representation. You can use some external hardwares also to support your representation of data, visual representation of data. Okay, next one, ma'am. You can use some external memory also for this, for your external representation. Ma'am, next one. So you can see the data which appears. I have just mentioned simple statistics. I think you would have studied mean, variance, correlation, all those things in your statistics. So if you just know basics of statistics for your data science, it's very sufficient. Once when you're going for this data sets, a pattern must be there, right? Identify the statistics. So it works for the similar data, and then you are going for the visualization part, right? So these are all the raw data which are available, and then you can see that the raw data which in the previous slide is being represented by means of graphs here. Next one. So you can see that is being represented by means of graphs one. So the expected ones and unexpected ones. So patterns, you can see that a lot of patterns which is being represented there. So identical statistics, it doesn't mean that similar data can be having the identical. Have some statistical model for that. You can work on the statistical model if you want. Next one. So interactivity is very important. Multiple aspects of data, you need to show multiple aspects of data. It doesn't mean that you have to concentrate only on one perspective. Crucial for handling data complexity, right? Since you are handling with the large data, huge data, so you must handle it carefully, and a lot of missing values, lot of imputations of data are required for these data, and a lot of data cleaning is required for this. If you are a research scholar, you must clean the data and then you have to use it for your research, and then overcome the limitations of people and display. So it is not possible for us to show all the data at once. So you'll be asking, sir, is it possible for me to show the complete data at one time, right? So it is not possible for us to show. You are just taking one or few variables and then you are showing that particular data alone separately by means of multiple graphs in whichever way they want, in whichever representations can do it. Okay, see that, right? The different representations are being mentioned here. You can see that a bar graph, you can see a scatter plot, you can see a lot of plots which are being represented. right? Scatter plots, line charts, bar charts, and how the links are being given to each other. So remember, whenever you are making a plots, whenever you are making a design, remember that the labels are very, very important. If I'm not mentioning the labels, I cannot understand anything from that particular graph. So data analysis and data analytics part of is concerned. I can analyze the data using some model and then visualizing it by means of lot of graphs. The labels are very, very labeling of data are very, very important. Okay, next one. So and then why focus on tasks and effectiveness? You can see that tasks take a good task or a that can be bad for another. So if you're selecting a tool, right? What type of tool? A lot of tools are available these days. As I told you, Jeffy, Tevla, D3, SockNetV. So a lot of tools are available for your visualization. So which tool you are taking, it doesn't mean that your friend will be using the same set of data for some other visualization part. So you'll be using some other tool. Each tool has a separate representation, visual representations, right? How to consider similar needs across multiple fields. This is very important. So abstract tasks allows one to consider different needs of continuous multiple fields. Effectiveness is very important. How you satisfy the correctness is very important. Accuracy is very important. The truth, right, which you are going to represent. The data is represented by seeing the graph. I can identify how correctness it is, how accurately I'm getting the data. So and then so big consideration is multiple alternatives. That is, you can consider multiple alternatives and then check for the accuracy or correctness or the truth of the particular data. So effectiveness is very, very important by means of visualization and analysis. And then resource limitations, computations, human cognition and display is very important in case of resource. Previous slide, man. Previous slide. So scalability issues will come in case if you are using large data sets. This is very important. And memory and computation time also you will face this difficulty in case if you are using large data sets. And display, I think in case if you are mentioning display, run out of pixels will be there in case of visualization. So see to that you use the appropriate tool for visualization. So that is very important. Next one. That's what I think you remember. What is this? I have mentioned in the first slide. Why analyzes this existing techniques? What data the user sees, right? Say for example, you take the data, complete data. I'm asking you to see what type of data you see on your Facebook, YouTube, so YouTube and your WhatsApp or all those things, right? So the data you see is only text, images, audio, video, and your emojis, right? Apart from this, it's not possible for you to see any other data on your social media, right? So the data are only these things, ma'am. Previously, so once when you're going for these data, so what type of data you see as an end user, right? You use it, right? So and then why the user intends to use the visualization tool. So I'm taking all the visualization part of all the data and then how I am encoding it and I'm using it and how I am using this data to visualize it and show to the other user. Okay, next. So you must understand as a data analyst, you must understand what type of data you're going to use, why are you going to use these data like by means of models, and how you are going to represent after the analysis part. So these three things you should answer as a data scientist. Ma'am, next slide, ma'am. Ma'am, next.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can see that we have mentioned the complex visualization tools, why, what, and how, like input and output dependencies chained together as a input and output dependencies. So this is dependent on that, and that is dependent on that. So whenever you are taking the data, collecting the raw data, see to that the raw data, whatever you have collected, is clean first, right? Or else you discover the data first. You make the analysis of the data first, whether it is clean or else any missing values are there in that particular data. Once, of course, you will have a lot of missing values in that particular data. But missing values of data is having a lot of options, right? Missing value is a separate, right? Separate part. where whatever data set you take, 100% you will have a missing value. Or else, if you just take a data set, that particular data set has to be cleaned. Say if I'm making a chat analysis, or if I'm making a text analysis, I want only the text data. I don't want the image. I don't video. I don't want the emojis. All those things. I have to remove all those. So it means that I'm cleaning the data, right? So cleaning, after cleaning only I can go for the analysis part, right? Directly I cannot go and analyze and make the analysis part, right? So you can see Google analysis is there. You can check with Google, even Facebook. Facebook at the end of what it gives you wherever, whatever locations you went particular year, it gives you as a video, right? So this is like an analysis they are making automatically, and it gives you the result, right? So analysis has a lot of techniques, right? In visualizing tools, you are having a lot of different tools also. Ma'am, next. Dependency is very important here. Okay, I'll just give you a few tools which we can use for data analytics and visualization. Next one, ma'am. So you can see Excel is there, and if you just take Excel, just you can see Excel. If I am representing that, it's very difficult for me to understand from that particular graph, right? Whereas if you see some other tool here, right, the leading causes of cancer deaths, I can easily understand by seeing this particular second graph. Whereas if I'm seeing the first graph, what I'll understand, I don't have a label also there, right? On the x-axis and y-axis, I don't have any labels. I don't understand anything out of that. But whereas in the second diagram, it easily gives me the total of causes of cancers by death. I can understand easily what is the cause, also what is the place of death. All those things I can do here also. Okay, next. So choosing the right tool is very important. You have this R, right? R program. So R programming is very advanced and very good these days. Work on this R program separately. You can download the version of R and R Studio, and then you can have a lot of beautiful graphs like this, showing it by means of a heat map, by means of some scatter plots, and you can see the complete graph in a single frame, right? So which makes us easily understand, which is very useful for research scholars or MPhil students. They can project their uh, uh, experimental results by means of these graphs like this, so which will be very useful for them. Okay, next one. So tabula is also very good, very good graph representation. So tabula is also free of cost. You can download this tabula free for a few days, I guess. So you can see that visually the representation of these graphs, the colors, you can see different colors. So what is the main intention of giving it in different colors? People who sees it can easily understand by seeing the different colors, right? So the color representation are represented here on the leftmost corner of the graph country wise. So you can see which country is performing better. By easily seeing this particular graph, I can easily identify which country is representing it fast. I mean, good, right? So this software is also very good. You can download this. It's open source. You can download it and you can use it. This particular software also. Okay, next one, man. Okay, D3, you can see that D3 gives different colors. You can give different patterns. You can see the graph visualization gives it exactly. You can see the heat maps for that, and you can see all the live visualizations part also here. So D3 JS is also giving beautiful colors and beautiful graphs for your data visualization. So just like that, we are not getting these graphs. So the graph behind this graph, a lot of analysis is available, right? So you have to complete that analysis and then visualize this by means of these particular tools, right? I'm just giving you the tools alone. Okay, next one. We are not going to work on any of these tools. I'm just representing only the open source tools which are readily available. You can use those tools. Next one, ma'am. Ma'am, next one. Ma'am, next one. Okay, now I'll just tell you what all the do's and don'ts you have to do. Don't start without any purpose, right? Say for example, if you want to make analysis and visualization, so what is the main purpose of your analysis? That is very important, right? Say for example, if you are working, if you are going to make analysis about a text, say for example, I just tell you I'm going to make an analysis about Rajinikanth, for example, whether his politics entry or whom he is supporting. This is my purpose, right? So what I'll do, I'll make I'm going to take all the statements or all the speech, all the press meet which he has given, and then I'm converting it into a text format, right? Remember, I'm converting it into a text format, and then I'm comparing that particular speech with other person's speech, like say for example Narendra Modi or Jayalalitha or Karunanidhi. I'm just comparing that particular speech with all the other persons, other popular persons, politicians. So now I can predict whom he is supporting, right? Like similarity, right? His speech is similar to that particular person, right? Or something like that. I can predict something out of that. It's very easy for me to do that, right? So likewise, you can do a lot of things like that, right? So always start with a purpose. Purpose is very, very important. Without a purpose, if I'm downloading all my Facebook data, and if I am downloading all my YouTube data, and if I'm downloading all my mobile data or whatever it may be, right? So there is no purpose for that, right? What I'm going to do with the data? You download one specific data, all your Facebook data you download, right? And do something. What are all the maximum? What are all the good comments which are being made by people, your friends? What are all the bad comments, frequent words which are used by your friends? If you just take your WhatsApp data, as I told you again, I can predict how much people in my WhatsApp group are talking good, or how much people are talking bad, or how much people are not at all talking, or how many people are only sharing. Like these things can be identified. So the purpose is very, very important, right? If you take a movie analysis, so if you just take movies from 1945 to 2020, I take all the movies and I'm going to find out how many romantic movies have come from 1945 to 2020, how many horror movies have come from 1945 to 2020, right? So I can sort out easily, right? So I can sort out easily, and in that, how many are from Hollywood, how many are from Bollywood, I can segregate. I can keep on. I can do something with that particular data. I can cluster the data, and in that, how many are having success rate and how many are having failure rate, I can easily classify it easily. Once when I am classifying it, how many having success rate and how many are having failure rate, then if I am a new director or if I am a new producer, I will produce similar kind of movies which have given more number of success films, right? So this is one sort of purpose which I am doing, right? So and then selecting the right graphic, this is also very important. Say for example, if I was talking about this movie database, I cannot for this movie database or for this movie analysis, I cannot have a Google map for this, right? It is irrelevant, right? So selecting the right graphic by means of some heat maps or by means of some other right graphic tool, whichever you want, or else the tool whichever you're using should be very appropriate for the purpose whatever you're using, right? And then know the audience. This is very important. So the people who sits in front of you, listen, I think that he doesn't know anything about analysis part, right? He should understand only by seeing the visualization part. Say for example, if you I think everyone would have watched this Robo 2 or Robo 1 movie. No one knows what is the hard work done behind that, right? So the people who sits in front of the screen just understands the movie, that's all. No one knows what has done behind that, what work they have done behind that, what animations they have used, what type of techniques they have used. Nothing. No one knows about all those things. Just they see the movie and they understand something out of that, right? Giving the comments, that is different. But people who sits in front of you doesn't know anything technically about that particular movie. Only they see the movie and they understand it. That's how the visualization is also about, right? The people doesn't know about the analytics part. They only see by seeing the visualization, right? Always remember, keep it very simple, right? Don't make it complex. Keep it very, very simple. The visualization should be very simple. And always remember, winning visuals have titles. Say if I am asking you to see a French movie, and if I'm asking you to see a Spanish movie or something like that without the English titles or without Tamil titles, so you'll understand, but not to the complete extent, right? So and then that's what be a slave to the labels. Labeling is very, very important in case of visualization is concerned. So you must label that so that the other person, by seeing the graph itself, he should understand by seeing the graph. Okay, so these are all the things which you must know as a data scientist or a data analyst for visualization part. Next one, ma'am. Ma'am, next one. And then what are all the don'ts you have to you should not do it. Don't oversimplify the data. Say for example, if you have if data are not available, don't remove the data and go for the analysis part, and don't oversimplify the data. Say if you are having 10,000 rows and 10,000 columns, don't take only 10 or 15 which is easy for you to use or something like that, right? Or else don't simplify the data and go for the analysis part, since you can do it only for small data or something like that, right? So assume that viewers will get don't assume that viewers will automatically get whatever graphic you create. Don't assume that whatever you visualize it, people will understand, right? This is also very important, right? Assuming the viewers will automatically get whatever graphic you create, that also is not good. You must make it with a purpose, choose the right graphic tool, and represent that in a right way. This is very important for a data scientist and a data analyst participants. Okay, next one. I think it is done. So I am expecting a lot of questions from you. So the right tool for you to make the data analysis is your Python, R. So these are all the two tools which is very good for your data, which is very good and which will give you immediate job as a student if you are, which will give you immediate job if you are searching for, if you are working on these two tools and if you are strong in these two tools. So always remember, the degree which you get is just for entry into the company, but you must be familiar in any one of these programming languages, right? So you must be familiar in either R programming or else Python, right? So other things like Tabula, Gephi, these are all tools where you can work on these these tools for visualization part, right? Okay. So I'm having a lot of questions.
Yes, sir.
So
I have some
yes,
questions.
please ask questions. I am expecting a lot of questions from you.
Some
Many
questions
people
from
just
chat box from participant side, sir. Shall I?
yeah.
Sir, you have mentioned some statement in the one slide. Data is generated everywhere and every day. Then what about the security possibilities at this juncture? How can we secure our data?
Data are not secured, ma'am. Data are not secured. If you are putting your data on social media, it is not safe, right? But you cannot be without being on a Facebook or Twitter, right? If you are using your data, if you are posting something on a social media, it is not safe, right? Because data are shared. Say for example, I don't know in the group itself, I don't know Janet Ramya. If Janet Ramya is calling to my mobile, immediately Facebook will be telling Janet Ramya, Facebook will be suggesting Janet Ramya your friend? How Facebook knows that I'm just talking to Janet Ramya? Tell me. So data are not at all safe.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And one more question.
Yeah.
What is data cleaning and why it plays major role in analysis?
See, if you are taking all your social media datas, right? All your social media datas. So datas are available to everyone at any time, right? So how you use the data, what type of data you are taking, and how you are using the data is very important. Okay. So and then analysis part is concerned. What type of data you are taking for analysis is very important. You cannot take all the data for analysis, right? So if I'm taking this particular meeting itself, I can take this particular data and then I can use it for some analysis, for improving my presentation or for improving the slide or for improving the questionnaire or something like that. how you use the data is very important.
Okay.
One student has asked if we delete the search data, is it still available for data analysis? See, deleting the data and searched data, so this comes under your live streaming of data. So if you are having a data set, the data set will be having it in different formats. As I told you, you will be having it in a Excel sheet, it will be having in a JSON format, or a lot of data formats are available, right? So that particular data format, if you're taking and if you're deleting it, right, in that particular data set, the data is gone. That cannot be used for analysis again. So that is a missing value there, right? So I think I have answered Preeti. So Silambarasi has
Sir,
asked the question.
yes,
Yeah, tell
sir.
me, ma'am.
Yes,
Silambarasi
just
has asked.
one question from chat box, SPSS and or which one is a friendly user for research point of view?
For research point of view, 100% you have to use only Python and R programming, both. SPSS, if you are doing for simple analysis, you can use, but SPSS like live streaming of data, if you want to use for research purpose, I don't prefer personally. I don't prefer SPSS. I prefer only Python and R programming. Right, as a research scholar, you should not think about even SPSS is also good, but that doesn't give proper visualization or all those things, like exact visualization, like 3D visualization, all those things, right? So, and then
And
Silambarasi has asked the researcher point of view, RSS, which one is friendly use? R is very good. Silambarasi point of view, R is very good. How do you send a data in a package format? Ashutosh Singh has asked data in a package. So how to send a data in a package, where you are going to send, that is very important. How to send it in a package format. So data are not there in a package format. Data are available everywhere. You can see that dataworld.com, kaggle.com, and then so a lot of websites are giving free data for you, right? So if you just take that data, so those data which are available in Kaggle and Data World or all those things, these are all free data which are ready. The open data, for example, open data, it is available for anyone. You can modify it and you can change it, and then you can use it for your analysis, right? So data are not available in a package format. Okay, so once when you take those data and you go for this analysis and visualization, that is, you are taking someone's data and you are working out. That doesn't work for your research purpose, right? If you're downloading someone's data and if you're working on that data, that doesn't come under your research purpose. That doesn't satisfy your research purpose. If you're doing some analysis on data and data science or visualization, something like that, analytics, you have to generate your own data. You have to collect the data from the users, right? You have to collect the data. For that, you have to create a form, or you have to do something out of that, and then you have to collect the data from the users. Then only you have to clean the data, and then you have to analyze it, and then you can go for the visualization. So then Nikhil Madhusudan Joshi has asked, how much starting package for a crashers can expect if he or she is a beginner? So Nikhil Madhusudan Joshi, so data analytics is having a lot of different options. You can be a data analyst, data scientist, you can be a technical evangelist. So a lot of options are available as a data scientist. So it depends on the job, you'll get high package. So presently the streaming analytics, one of my student has joined last year. He has joined in the streaming analytics in sports, Star Sports, right? So what he is doing is he's, I think, recent the badminton or is the match cricket 2020 game. Whenever the game is happening, his work is to generate heat maps based on the players, individual players. So for that, he is getting around 2 to 2.5 lakhs per month, right? Just for Nikhil Madhusudan Joshi, I'm just telling, right? He's just joined as a fresher. Last year he joined. Okay, so I think one more question. What is the difference between R and Python language? So R and Python language, R is like R is having a lot of packages, inbuilt packages, right? So Python is like a programming language where you can integrate with a lot of other tools also. right? How to choose parameters and metrics for enhance the predictive analytics algorithm. Janet Ramya has asked the question, how to choose parameters and metrics to enhance existing predictive analysis algorithm. See, the existing predictive analysis algorithms, whatever it is existing, you just sort it out first, and then based on the data set which you are choosing, that is very important. Based on that only you will be using the metrics, and then you'll be enhancing the parameters, all those things. Okay, I think so what is the main difference? Okay,
Sir, all the participants are requesting your PPT.
yeah, you can share it to them, ma'am. I think it's very good. So a lot of free courses are available also. You can take this data analytics, big data analytics, even SPSS, right? I have recently shared a flyer to your ma'am. I think they are giving free courses on all these, right? Certification courses. You can take all these courses, right? I think recently, ma'am, you can share it, that flyer, to all the students also. One from data analytics, I think they have sent it. So they completely work on this data analytics only. I think one more person has asked a question.
What is a good data model?
Ma'am, I can't hear you.
What is the good data model? Someone has asked.
See, data models, what type of model you are going to use? Either you are going for a classification model or clustering model, right? So the model, whichever you are choosing, right? It may be varying on the, it may be depending on the data sets which you are going to use, the analysis which you are going to use. So choosing the right model is very important. Okay, so classification, clustering, or random forest, or whatever it may be. Okay, and Sonali Kadred has asked a question. Okay, so that's very fast. Okay, fine. Since the time factor is concerned, I thought.
Yes, sir. Shall we conclude?
Yes, ma'am. So no more questions. So one more question, ma'am. How effective is K-means algorithm for research? Sonali Kadred has asked. See, K-means, like, it is already existing, right? K-means clustering is already existing, and once when you are talking about this K-means clustering, so you have to give the accuracy point of view. You should concentrate, right? So accuracy point of view, in the sense, based on the data set, how accurately you are giving. Say 99.9%, my system gives you accurate result. So for research point of view, just like that, K-means algorithm cannot be used, right? If you're going for a PhD point of view, I cannot use only K-means algorithm for my thesis or else for my paper for presentation. You should consider all the algorithms and then present K-means is better for my data set. Okay, so I think that will be good. And ma'am, one final thing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, if anyone is having any doubts related to data analytics or data science or working with R, working with Python, you are always free to feel free to connect to me, and so I can give you a lot of inputs on that. I can clear all your doubts. So I think I have shared my number also, contact number also there in the PPT itself. You can contact me anytime so that I can help you to clear all
Yes.
your doubts and clear
Audio is breaking.
all your queries. Even if it is a research scholar, I'll be more happy. I'm always here to help the research eager scholars. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for an informative presentation.
Hello,
And
ma'am.
the session. Yes, sir. I'm audible. Hello, I'm audible. Can anybody tell me, is I'm audible?
Yes, ma'am, I'm audible.
Yeah, thank you. Informative presentation. The session is much informative on how the data analysis implemented at this scenario in all the everything pointed out in the presentation. Thank you very much for your time. I request Ms. Salma, Assistant Professor of Computer Science Department, to share the feedback link in the chat box so that everybody is waiting for the feedback link. Dear participants, you will receive around 5 p.m. today with the quiz link. The quiz link will be open till 9 p.m. of today. I request all the participants to take the quiz link quiz for successful completion of this FDP. The same will be followed for forthcoming sessions. Thank you all for your patience and thanks once again. We'll meet again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Exactly for the second session of this FDP. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Ms. Salma.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Salma, post the feedback link once again. I'm requesting all the participants to take the feedback link and kindly give your feedback. Those who are submitting the feedback will receive mail around 5 p.m. today with quiz link. Thank you all.